Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel NUCLEUS NEET. Hope you all liked my first video, and if you are not on my Telegram channel yet, join now. Link is in the description below. And today we'll quickly dive into the basics and differences of identification, classification, taxonomy, and systematics. Let's get started. Identification and classification. Uh, Before knowing identification, I think it's important that you know one more word, which is characterization. What is this actually? Like for example, let's say if we know or if we've seen a species A, yeah, or an organism A, yeah. So we will see some of the observable characters of that organism. Here we have taken example of a crow. Then let's take an example of crow only. Let's consider this A organism which we are seeing here is crow. Yeah. So what exactly will we define? Observable characters. It is uh like black in color. It has feathers. Yeah. And like it flies. Its nutrition, what exactly it eats, yeah, rest all of its habits. These are the things which we characterize basically. Just by looking at it, we come into some conclusions, or we say some of the characteristics of them. Yeah, that is characterization. Yeah, we have seen some organism and we characterize it by some of its morphological characters and other characters as well. Next comes identification. What happens here is, now identifying, we know that there is a species called as A. Yeah. So then we identify it. What all existing knowledge or existing information we have about this species A, we see all the characteristics which we have noted. Based on them, from the existing information, we will check which species has these characteristics in them. Yeah, we identify, that is called as identification. With the existing information, with the existing information, we identify a particular species or a bird or an animal or any other species, any other organism, we identify it to be so and so. That is called as identification based on existing informations and based on the characteristics which we have observed. We tend to identify a particular organism to be so and so. Yeah. Then comes classification. Now we have already identified the now characterization. We have found a species. We have seen that it has some of the characteristics which we have observed. It has feathers, it is black in color, it has certain kind of beak, it flies, and then certain kind of nutrition it has its own habits. Then, based on the existing information, you check existing knowledge, you get to a conclusion that it is crow, which is Corvus splendens. Yeah. Now, next, what happens? We know that it is crow. Now, we have to classify it. Yeah. Classification is done. What is classification? Classification is arranging of organisms into different groups or categories. What does that mean? Now we have Corvus splendens. Does that mean it is just this? No. It comes with a lot of story with itself, which is it is placed within different taxa. That is kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. We have to place this crow at various different level of taxa. Yeah. So if we will see kingdom Animalia, phylum Chordata, class Aves, order Plexiformis, family Corvidae, genus Corvus, and Splendens. What is identification? Identification is based on some of the observable characters. We are identifying any species to be so and so. Yeah. And then after that, the identified species, we group them into different groups and categories. That process is called as classification. Now, next, the next process after classification is actually nomenclature, which we'll be seeing in our next video. We'll look this nomenclature part in our next video. But so far, just understand the identification and classification part. And next being taxonomy. What is taxonomy? Based on characteristics of all living organisms can be divided into different taxa. Yeah, this process is called as taxonomy. What exactly does this mean? We have already discussed identification and classification. Taxonomy is nothing but which includes all of these processes. We have said here based on characteristics, all living organisms can be classified into different taxa. This process is called as taxonomy. Now, what are these characteristics actually? Characteristics, if we will see, they are external. Whenever we group, there are certain animals, or let's say only organism, when we group them into different taxa. Yeah, kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species, all of these different taxa. We look at certain characteristics what that organism exhibit, and those characteristics are external features. Yeah, in external features, size, shape, structure, etc. Yeah, then internal features come presence or absence of certain organs or tissues. Like for example, we have vascular plants, vascular and non-vascular, non-vascular plants. Yeah. Then some of the characteristics at cellular level. Yeah, at cellular level, we'll see prokaryotic or eukaryotic. They're again divided into different kingdoms, different phylums based on which organisms are prokaryotic, what are eukaryotes. Yes. Next, reproductive characteristics, asexual and sexual, and mode of nutrition. If you'll see, some are heterotropic, some are autotropic. If you will see kingdom again, plante, you know, kingdom, plant kingdom and animal kingdom, we can see various differences between both of them, and the major being autotropic and heterotropic. Yeah. So yeah, this is also included. Then their genetic makeup of any organism is also included. In this way, all these characters which have been mentioned here are determined or used to see where exactly the organism can be placed. Yeah. Next comes basic components of taxonomy. I think we have already discussed characterization, that is morphological and other characteristics of an organism to be studied are described. Yeah. We have seen any species or organism. Based on that, looking at it morphological or any other characteristic, we define that organism to be so and so, then identify based on these what all features we have observed or what all characters we have observed, we identify which group or taxa the studied organism belongs to. Yeah. Now next is classifying. पहले कोई organism मिल गया हमको, ठीक है, उसको देख के कुछ फीचर्स हमने एनालाइज कर दिया कि ये दिखता ऐसा है, इसका कलर ऐसा है, इसका बॉडी ऐसा है। फिर हम जो एग्जिस्टिंग नॉलेज है हमारे पास ऑलरेडी, हम वहां जाते हैं, उस बुक के पास जाते हैं, उस नॉलेज के पास जाते हैं, ये देखने के लिए कि जो भी हमने देखा है कैरेक्टर्स, वो कौन से ऐसे ऑर्गेनिज्म से मैच करता है। तो हम जाके आइडेंटिफाई करते हैं कि, तो दूसरा स्टेप यही होता है कि आइडेंटिफाई करते हैं, यू नो। सो क्रो एग्जाम्पल वी हैव टेकन, वी आइडेंटिफाई दैट टू बी क्रो। या नेक्स्ट, तब हम देखते हैं कि ये जो हमारा जो स्पीशीज है वो किससे बिलोंग करेगा, कौन सा ऐसा स्पीशीज है जो मैच कर रहा है, क्रो है। अगर वो किसी से भी मैच नहीं कर रहा है, तो हम उसका एक अलग से एक टैक्सॉन बना देंगे, एक ग्रुप बना देंगे दूसरा वाला. We'll create one more group. Yeah. So identify which group it belongs. Then we go to classify it, right? अगर if we go on to identify something and we get organism जहाँ पे where none of the characteristics were studied before, it's a completely new organism which has been found, then we create a new taxon or a group. Now classifying existing information if we get of that organism which we have seen, then we place that into some convenient category. But there is some different new species which have been found, then we give it a new group or a new taxa which will be formed. Nomenclature, this is the fourth step, which is naming of that organism. So these are the basic components of taxonomy. Yeah, which is characterization, first seeing its features, and then upon the knowledge of these features, identifying what organism is that, and then after identification, placing that identified organism into different category or the convenient category. And if there is no such organism which is present before, then naming that as a new species, then creating a new taxa for it, and then finally arrives nomenclature. Yeah, naming of that organism. This is the basic component of taxonomy. Let's move to systematics. What does systematic mean? The word systematics, it was derived from Latin word systema, means systematic arrangement of organism. Why exactly Latin words are used variously, usually in biological names? Because Latin is a dead language. What is a dead language? Basically, nobody speaks this language anymore or uses this language as their native language. No native. Yeah. They don't use this as their native language anymore. As a result, what happens is there is no scope of any change. It does not change. There is no scope of any change in the near future, so it is used. Yeah. Systema Naturae, it was the title of the publication of Linnaeus' book. Yeah. Now, uh, what systematic does? What taxonomy does was identifying an organism and classifying it to various different groups and then naming it. Yeah, that is what taxonomy did. Systematic goes one step ahead. It deals with relationship and evolutionary history among organisms. Yeah, so systematics is basically taxonomy plus evolutionary studies. Something is identified, characterized, classified, and then it is named. It all happens. But after naming, also, we have to find what are the relationship that named organism carries with other organism within their family or order. So, like we will just summarize everything with just an example. Yeah, we took example of crow, which is Corvus splendens, identifying, looking at a bird and recognizing it as crow. Yeah, looking at its features and all of it, and then uh, first comes characterization, obviously, and characterization we get to know its features. After characterization, we do its identification that this is the bird, and classification, placing the identified bird in under different taxa or under convenient taxa. And if this is not a if the features, if what we have observed are not matching with any of the existing knowledge, then we identify that to be a new species. Yeah, and then we create a new taxon. New taxon. Now taxonomy. What is taxonomy? Taxonomy consists of all these things. First characterize it, and then identify it. Yeah, and then place it under different groups which it is related to, and then name it. Nomenclature. What is systematics? Systematics, we know Corvus, it is crow. Then placing crow under the kingdom it is present. Then suitable phylum, suitable class, suitable order, suitable family, suitable genus, and suitable species. That's what taxonomy is. Systematics comes taxonomy plus evolutionary study. We know crow is placed under kingdom Animalia, file all these phylum, class, order, all of it. But we have to know what are the relationship of crow with its family members, with its order, with its class, with its phylum. How exactly is crow related to other organisms? Yeah. So that is done through systematics, studying its DNA to find whom crow is closely related and show their evolutionary relationship. This is about systematics, taxonomy, classification, and identification. That's it for today, guys. Thank you for watching. Do like, share, and subscribe, and kindly share it as much as possible. And kindly watch whole video and do comment your doubts. And please join Telegram channel. And there is a discussion group as well where you can drop your uh, doubts. I'll be dealing with your doubts after end of each and every chapter. And I'll be posting this presentation in my Telegram channel. You can use it as short notes. Yes. Thank you so much for listening once again. Have a nice